Yo, what's up, Archons? It's time for another episode of Coach's Collection, where I go into my KeyForge decks and decide to talk and share about one that I love for various reasons. This deck is falling under the saucy category. The past ones I did have been due to chase cards, but this one, emphatically Gary Haruki, is a beast. One of my highest base arc decks that I have, and yeah, I do love it quite a bit. It is a Dis Star Alliance Logos deck. And why do I love this deck? Well, as I just go through the cards slightly here, you'll start to see it has Obsidian Forge, Poltergeist, Call of Subordination, Lord Invidious. So guess what? You drop Lord Invidious turn 1 and then Call of Subordination turn 2 and steal another one of their creatures. You pretty much just hosed your opponent so hard. And you create a situation now where your opponent basically has to play 3 creatures and put the one that they don't want you to take in the middle. Or else you're just stealing creatures and building your disboard stronger. I've literally ended games on turn 1 because they didn't have an answer for Lord Invidious right away and couldn't do anything. It is such a good card. Now, with Mass Mutations, I think there's way more spot removal that you can just get rid of one creature easily, so that Invidious becomes a little bit more problematic, less problematic because there's more tools to deal with it. But I love it. The Dis in this is great. It's got the Harbinger for board wipe. Buzzle is always fun for fighting. Festering Touch is great. Imp Spectre for disruption. Bloodshard Imp, again, disruption, loving it. Bornit, more disruption, more damage. And then Obsidian Forge for the key cheat, which does work quite well with this deck, especially when you're stealing your opponent's creatures. And of course, artifact control, so it's great. Caller is great in this, and sometimes it's not even played when I call this, and we'll get into that later. It has, again, for cycling, Daughter, Igor, what else? Wormhole Technician, Millie, Jargoggle. So, yeah, the Logos is really good. Logos is more for cycling through your deck, setting up things like that, getting more creatures on the board for the Forge. Information Exchange, some Ember Control, Sanitation Engineer. It's nice to cycle a little bit having this, but the Sanitation Engineer is kind of actually maybe like one of the worst creatures in this deck. I don't really need to use it that often. Again, more removal. This is also really nice, especially with some of the dinos that are out there, having the ability to just do that. But you got to be careful for yourself with this one, because this is the one that has the playability. So right away you're getting yourself in a position where you could hose. So I do like this quite a bit. Again, remote access, getting to take care of artifacts. This card I don't think I've appreciated fully within this deck. And it might be because I have not played this, I think, since Mass Mutation came out. So this will be played on stream tonight. And I'm really excited to get to use this a little bit more. Because with all the big boards that can come from Mass Mutation now, I think the Sizewell Entangler has more value. Being able to stop your opponent from... You basically say you can't call that house next turn if you want to use your creatures to get their reap abilities or anything. So I love that. I have more appreciation for this. Entropic Swirl, I think, is maybe one of... No, it's my favorite spot removal card. I will say that with conviction. Because you have the potential to do 6 damage to a creature because it's 2 for each trait. And get 3 Ember. So you can remove a creature, get 2 or 3 Ember. I think that is an amazing swing no matter how you look at it. This is my absolute favorite spot removal card. It's sometimes not going to kill a creature, but it doesn't matter. It's my favorite. And the artwork's by Natalie Russo, who is my favorite artist in the game. Now, moving on to Star Alliance, this is where things get real fun. So this deck can go Dis and just have a crazy disboard, and you have such a strong presence that you don't need to do anything else. This is a deck where you get to a point where you're just going to be calling the same house over and over again until your opponent decides that, I'm going to have to deal with that, and then I go into something else. The Walls is amazing because I can get back Caller of Subordination, Calm Officer Kirby to play the Caller of Subordination. It's amazing. The double Kirby in here is fantastic. Chan's great. Double Frayne, also great. Double Light of the Archons is so good because it can protect the Fraynes, protect the Kirbys, protect the Lord Invidious, whatever route you're going. And then you have Tabor as well, so if you are in the Star Alliance suite where you're just calling SA over and over again, you can then get out some other cards or use other cards. I really like this for using Obsidian Forge on a Star Alliance turn, doing some shenanigans, especially when you start getting the Transporter Platform combo going, because you have the double Light of the Archons with Transporter Platform. That is the way it's played here. It works so great, especially when you have Kirby's, so you're cycling while still calling Star Alliance, or using Frains when you need that extra Ember control. But you got to be... the one thing I sometimes forget is I need to not put Ember on Frain, because I have the potential to be using Frain over the Transporter Platform combo. And then it has Xeno Training for some more Ember control. And lastly, Tachyon Pulse. Like, artifact control in every single house. It is fantastic. This card, I think, has really gone up in value with the artifacts that exist right now. The one thing about this deck you may have noticed as I was going through, the Ember control is kind of light. There's Malazan in Dis. There's basically one card in Dis, one card in... sorry, I'm losing my mind here. One card in Logos, losing my mind, losing my train of thought. And then it has the First Officer Frain and Xeno Training here. The great thing about the Frain is it's reusable, and there's two of them. But the Ember control is not something that is really aggressive. So you need to be the aggressor and pushing that Ember moving forward so that that's not an issue. I absolutely love this deck. There are so many tricks and combos. It is a very cerebral deck to play. I definitely need to get some more reps. I do have a lot with this deck. I've played it in primes. I've taken down tournaments in Chainbounds to the point where I realized it was so oppressive I stopped bringing it to Chainbound because it was just dominating and not being fun, and that's not the environment for a deck like this. But I do love this deck. I would love to put this in a Triad, but I've learned that Triad games, you want to actually not be playing those super cerebral decks that require a lot of thinking because they are such long games, and especially if it's a Vault Tour, you do not want to play decks like that. And I did that once in actually the Vault Tour I went to, and it was aggressive. You want to have decks that flow nice when you're playing Triad. This is way too cerebral, needs so much brain power, and there's so many different combos, and you have to constantly be on your toes and remembering the things and the triggers and stuff like that. So yeah, I just always keep that in mind. But the good news is that this deck is great in different things, even adaptive. I played it maybe a little too good for adaptive, but it was a lot of fun. I do enjoy this deck a ton. You will see it tonight, and get ready for some shenanigans. I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.